Talk heard everywhere.
Anytime is Bashko time at the store that gives you more. The time by Bashko is
5 o'clock.
Make sure that CC clip ready. We need it for the second.
That's from the Clarendon correspondent coming through now.
3. All the international stores in the folder. Good. 2.
Newsreaders all set.
Yeah, man, everything set, everything ready.
To around point. Newstalk 93 FM has got it covered. Across the 7 seas to the 4 corners of the world. It's all captured on the 93 radar. 93.1, 93.3, 93.5, 93.7 and 93.9 on your FM dial. Real News at 5 starts now.
It's time for the 5 o'clock news roundup here on Newstalk 93 FM. I'm Errol Lee.
And I'm Andre Bernard.
Coming up in this newscast, People's Cooperative Bank threatened with closure if it does not improve its financial affairs.
Home of co-accused in Crary rape case firebombed.
East Rural St. Andrew MP Damien Crawford rolls out diagnostic testing for grade 4 and 6 students in his constituency.
And $3 billion spent on development projects in East Central St. Catherine.
Now the details. The registrar of the Department of Cooperatives and Friendly Societies has signaled its intent to cancel the operations of the National People's Cooperative Bank, the NPCB, unless the bank can show that it is conducting its financial affairs and management according to the rules of the Industrial and Provident Societies Act and Regulations. Registrar Errol Gallimore issued a cancellation order published in the Jamaica Gazette with an August 5, 2015 date. However, it's understood that Gallimore has approved a 3-month extension of the order. At the same time, in a letter dated August 26 to the chairman of the NPCB, Bernal Neal, chairman of the Agricultural Credit Board, the ACB, Hugh Graham, served notice that the board has exercised its powers under the Agricultural Credit Board Act to take over the management and control of the NPCB beginning August 27, 2015, and until further advised. Citing reasons for the action, the ACB highlighted, quote, reckless exposure of members' savings, unquote, resulting in more than $665 million, or 21% of members' deposits, being unaccounted for.
Reports reaching our news center is that fire was this morning set to the St. Anne family home of Shanique Williams, the co-accused in a rape case against former Jamaica Labour Party councillor Don Crary. It is understood that a section of the house in Comfort Valley, Richmond in the parish and a motor vehicle which was parked outside were destroyed during the blaze. The house was reportedly firebombed at about 2 a.m. No one was hurt. Meanwhile, Crary is now facing a second rape charge. In a question and answer session yesterday, it was revealed that in June of this year, Crary took a 19-year-old woman to a Meadowbrook apartment in St. Andrew where she was allegedly raped. The woman made a report to the police the following month. Crary has denied the charge, insisting that both himself and the complainant were in a relationship prior to the rape allegations. Williams and Crary were charged last Wednesday in relation to an alleged sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl.
Reports have surfaced that a well-known medical doctor is now in police custody to be questioned in connection with reports that he conducted an abortion on a 13-year-old girl. It's understood that the corporate area-based doctor was held by the police yesterday afternoon after a complaint was filed by relatives of the teenager. The doctor, who is being held at the corporate area police lockup, is to undergo a question and answer session.
The police in Manchester have identified the man who allegedly shot and injured a pastor in the community of Waltham in the parish last night. Dead is Nigel Green of Barnstable District in the parish. According to the police, Green has had previous run-ins with the law. He was reportedly charged for the 2010 murder of former Member of Parliament, Dr. Neil McGill. Green was, however, acquitted of the charge. According to reports, the alleged gunman attacked the pastor at his home and fired shots which hit him in the upper chest and foot. The injured pastor, who is a licensed firearm holder, managed to return fire, killing the alleged gunman on the spot. It is believed that Green wanted to rob the pastor. The pastor was taken to hospital for treatment. It is believed that there were other gunmen accompanying the dead man, but they reportedly fled the scene.
Generation 2000 G2K President Matthew Samuda has commented on accusations that Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller is, quote, always missing in action to speak on national issues. The accusations come from sections of the media, as well as from members of civil society and the opposition Jamaica Labour Party, who assert that for too long the Prime Minister has not addressed issues of national importance. Samuda says while former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson did not speak as much as people would have liked him to, the media was never prevented from asking him questions.
Mr. Patterson didn't speak as much as people would have liked, but I don't recall or don't remember the media being barred from asking questions. I don't recall Mr. Patterson sprinting to his vehicle after issuing a statement, so there can be no rebuttal, no questions, no clarification. So I think therein lies the problem that Mrs. Simpson-Miller is facing. It's not that people in Jamaica expected to speak every single day on every single issue. She has a cabinet who should be active. But there comes a point when you have several national crises that require leadership and the feeling of comfort, and it's not coming from the Prime Minister. Hence, she has a problem.
Samuda says the Jamaican people need to feel that they have a leader who can represent them and to whom her cabinet ministers are accountable. He lists what he refers to as major national issues that the Prime Minister has been notably silent on.
You need to feel that there's somebody at the helm who the ministers are accountable to, who has a feel of what is happening, who also has some sort of solutions that will put your mind at ease and, reduce the stress of the Jamaican people. She has not been doing that. You've had several major national issues or crises, depending on how you look at it. We couldn't get her to speak on the chikungunya outbreak. We couldn't get clear answers on the Outer-Many purchase. And the list, we can go on all morning, but she's been absent on virtually every matter of national importance.
The G2K president argues that Simpson-Miller's reaction to the accusations is to resort to her usual political strategy. At the same time, however, he says even though the Prime Minister avoids the media, she is indeed very media savvy.
It's typical, not surprising. It's her usual political rhetoric. As much as she avoids the media, I would say that she is clearly media savvy because since Sunday it's been the topic of conversation on virtually all talk show, all news program. But she still knows how to draw attention to her political message when she's ready, which to me is a bigger indictment on her because she does have the attention of the people. And if she would speak to people and show that she had an understanding of the issues, she wouldn't be in the problem that she is in now, but perhaps the issue is a lack of understanding.
Generation 2000 President Matthew Samuda speaking on Fresh Start this morning.
Children from grades 4 and 6 across East Rural St. Andrew will now be eligible for tests to determine if they are faced with learning challenges. It follows the move by Member of Parliament for the area, Damien Crawford, to secure funding for the Michael College Care Centre to begin diagnostic testing for all grade 4 and 6 students in his constituency. Speaking at yesterday's handing over ceremony, Crawford said the move forms part of his efforts to ensure that at least one person in each Jamaican household has a degree.
Yes, as part of the 3-2-1 program, we're trying to ensure that you have a degree per household. So we're starting from the basics where we find that some of our students might have learning deficiencies. And therefore what we wanted to do was to do a test for all 4th graders and 6th graders in East Rural St. Andrew to ensure that whatever learning disabilities that exist, we can create programs and create practices to ensure that everyone must learn and every child must. So what we have done was to raise 200,000 from sponsorship and another 400,000 from the CDF, the Development Fund, to ensure that we can pay the Michael institution to do all our East Rural students. So that's the initiative.
Member of Parliament for East Rural St. Andrew, Damien Crawford. According to a representative from the Micro Care Centre, Jodianne Reid, the testing will begin on Monday.
This service will be provided in the form of a field assessment. This field assessment will be conducted using our psychologists, our special educators, and our social workers. They will come into a specified location and they will carry out bearing tests on children to identify the areas in which these children struggle, as well as to find out how these children can be helped. After the process is completed, then these children will be offered remediation services depending on their needs. This remediation service may include coming into the center and being given remedial classes there, or it may even include them to be referred to other special education institutions.
Michael Care Center representative Jody Ann Reed. Meanwhile, General Manager of JN Life Insurance, Oliver Tomlinson, says the organization decided to become corporate sponsor of the program because it saw a need to enhance the learning experience and capabilities of students across the island.
It will assist him in getting the children in the constituency get the proper diagnostic treatment. We recognize that education is very important to us. I recognize that a lot of the children would need that diagnostic intervention, and so we made a conscious decision to partner with the Member of Parliament to provide the funding that will enable the Michael Care Center to properly assess the children, and having assessed them now, develop the necessary corrective programs for them. Because we understand that every child is going to learn differently, and every child has his own individual nuances, and so we have to make sure that we do the proper tests, put the persons in the right place, and have the right resource committed to have these children get the intervention that they
General Manager of JN Life Insurance, Oliver Tomlinson. Meanwhile, Principal of the Louise Bennett Coverley All-Age School, Wayne Mullings, says the test will provide early warning signs in students that are faced with learning challenges.
As a principal and the president of the QEC, we find it an important program. Quite a number of children have been reading well below the grade level. In instances, we have children who are in grade 9 who are reading at grade 1 level. We find that initiative will now help to do an intervention to diagnose the needs of the students that have learning disabilities, and will attempt to help them. And Michael Care, in partnership with them, will now put in place the required intervention. They would now, having done the diagnostic assessment, would now give us the required tool and the resources to work with, to say where the students are at and what are the learning needs of the students, so we can cater to those needs in the classroom.
Principal of the Louise Bennett Coverley All-Age, Wayne Mullings. The test, which begins with Donald Quarry, Hall's Delight, Louise Bennett and Dallas Primary, is expected to provide information to teachers about the ability of their students to learn while enhancing student confidence and performance.
You're listening to the news on Newstalk 93 FM. It's 13 and a half minutes after 5. The National Works Agency, the NWA, is advising motorists and pedestrians that the roadway leading to the Pear Tree River community in St. Thomas will be closed for 6 months as of tomorrow. The closure of the roadway is to facilitate the demolition of the old bridge and the beginning of construction of a new bridge. The new structure will be approximately 30 meters in length and span 2 abutments. It will be constructed in the location of the existing bridge alignment. The demolished old bridge will be carted away as scrap and disposed of at an approved waste management site. NWA says a detour road has been constructed adjacent to the bridge construction site to allow for the movement of traffic and pedestrians during the temporary closure of the roadway. Construction works started early this month. The $49.5 million contract was awarded to Alcar Construction and Haulage Company Limited.
Chief Justice Zayla McCalla says a number of initiatives are being undertaken to enhance the delivery of justice to Jamaicans. Speaking at this morning's opening of the Michaelmas session of the Home Circuit Court, Chief Justice McCalla said repairs are being made to courts in rural parishes. She also said there are to be more courtrooms for judges at the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, and the filing systems are being modernized. She further disclosed that a permanent court is to be set up in St. James to hear civil and divorce cases. The Chief Justice said this will help to reduce the need for persons living in the western side of the island to come into Kingston to have their matters heard.
And the Chief Justice says a standard form for applying for a divorce has been put in place. She said this will serve to reduce delays in divorce matters. The Chief Justice called on Jamaicans not to stay away from jury duty. She said the absence of jurors continues to cause delays in the system. A total of 537 cases are down to be heard in the Home Circuit Court this session. 487 cases were brought over from the last session. Of the total, 329 are murder cases, 105 are sexual offense cases, and 4 cases of trafficking in persons.
Opposition spokesman on Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Edmund Bartlett, has been elected to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, UNWTO, affiliates Executive Council. Bartlett's election to the Executive Council, which took place yesterday, provides an opportunity for ascension to the chairmanship of the UNWTO affiliates when the body meets in November at the World Travel Market in London. Bartlett, who served as tourism minister in the Jamaica Labour Party administration of 2007 to 2011, also served as first vice chairman of the Executive Council of Ministers in 2011 before handing over the post to incumbent tourism minister Dr. Wickham McNeil when the JLP demitted office in January 2012. Should Bartlett assume chairmanship of the UNWTO in November, Jamaica would become the first country outside of Spain to hold the position and would achieve the unprecedented feat of holding both the post of chairman of the Executive Council of Ministers and a chairman of the affiliates body in the same calendar year.
The World Bank is warning developing economies, including those in the Caribbean, to brace for possible financial market turbulence from the upcoming U.S. monetary policy tightening cycle. According to a new World Bank policy research paper released ahead of this week's meeting of the U.S. Federal Reserve's policy-setting Federal Open Market Committee, while a likely rise in U.S. interest rates, which would be the Federal Reserve's first rate hike since 2006, has been widely telegraphed, it is nonetheless running a risk of being associated with market volatility. The bank says while the Fed has set the stage for tightening, there can be financial market volatility even around a long-anticipated Fed policy change. It says this could lead to a sizable drop in capital inflows to emerging and frontier markets.
And in news from the region, 9 of 11 Jamaicans who were incarcerated in Cuba have been pardoned by the Cuban government and will return to Jamaica in the coming days. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the release of the Jamaicans is part of the move by Cuba to grant pardon to over 3,000 prisoners on the occasion of the upcoming visit of Pope Francis to Cuba. According to the release, the decision was taken by the Council of State on the basis of criteria determined by the responsible ministries of the Cuban government. The 9 Jamaicans who have been pardoned include 8 men and 1 woman who were held for various offenses, including possession of drugs and trafficking.
That's your local and regional news. For international news, we join the BBC.
BBC News with Justine Green. Hungarian riot police have fired tear gas at migrants trying to cross the border from Serbia. Some people managed to break through the razor wire fence. A Hungarian government spokesman said up to 24 police were injured, 2 seriously. The Serbian Prime Minister, Alexander Vučić, has accused Hungary of being brutal in its behaviour towards the refugees on their joint border. The UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon said he'd been shocked to see how the migrants had been treated. A new study suggests the campaign against malaria in Africa has prevented almost 700 million cases of the most deadly form of the disease since the turn of the century. A study published in the journal Nature found the number of new infections had halved. Gunshots have been fired in Burkina Faso to disperse a growing crowd near the presidential palace, where soldiers have seized the interim president and prime minister. The soldiers are loyal to the ousted former leader, Blaise Compaoré. President Obama has invited a 14-year-old Muslim student from Texas to the White House after he was briefly detained by police for taking a homemade clock to school that teachers thought looked like a bomb. Writing on Twitter, Mr. Obama called Ahmed Mohammed's clock cool, saying more kids should be inspired to enjoy science like him. The United States says Russia has proposed holding military discussions on the conflict in Syria. The U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov had made the offer in a telephone call and the White House was considering it. And a Russian impersonator has claimed that he tricked the singer Elton John into thinking that President Putin had phoned him to discuss gay rights. Vladimir Krasnov, better known as Vovan, said from the way that Elton John had reacted, it seemed that he really was expecting to receive a call from the Russian president. BBC News.
Broadcast Jamaican and Newstalk 93 FM now gear the news in the Jamaican language.
Good evening. My name is Kadeen Marshall, and these are the news in the Jamaican language. Some reporters say somebody set fire to Shanique Williams' house in St. Anne. She the woman who get charged with Don Query in the rape case. Them claims that one part of the house in a Comfort Valley burn up and one car were being parked outside burn up too. Them say somebody firebombed the house around 2 o'clock this morning. Williams, where one publicist, get charged last week Wednesday cause police claims that she been dead when the girl get raped and cause she feel her up. One-time MP for North East St. Elizabeth, Karen Spencer, said the executive body of the People National Party should have met with some people in the constituency before they pick Evan Redman to run for the party in the next general election. The party tell everybody yesterday say Redman get the work and go run in the election. This comes some hours after Raymond Price so him no longer want the seat. But Spencer said because the PMP give Redman the work, it's harder for unite the party, and the Prime Minister must send some senior people to help calm down the constituency. The Supreme Court stopped the case of one-time mayor for Black River, Daphne Holmes-Bembring, for block the party from select somebody for the North East St. Elizabeth seat. Them do this because the Member of Parliament Raymond Price say him now running in the next election. Last week, Daphne Holmes-Bembring got court for block the party from pick somebody for the seat. She been claims that although Redman being a one constituency chairman, even a one paid up member of the party, say him not fit for run as candidate. News from the rest of the Caribbean. Yakini Charles, where one 12 years old boy in Trinidad and Tobago, get shot and dead when him been come from school. As according to the Trinidad police report, Charles Bainer go home when him get shot in him back. Them claims that Charles Bainer run past the Alton Road after him get shot, but him drop and one truck driver rushed him go to Port of Spain General Hospital. Him dead when Dr. Bainer look after him. Them claims that gang war caused the killing. Some people say gunman been start shoot off of some man them say stand up and Charles Bainer pass and get shot. News from foreign. Some riot police in Hungary are throw tear gas and water upon some migrants where they are the Serbia and Hungary border. Enough people they are the close crossing point near the Serbia town of Erbas, but the police on the other side now make them pass. Some of the migrants them a fling buckle and stone upon the police them. Them want reach Germany, but them have to pass through Hungary first. Enough migrants been cross the border already for going to the European Union zone, where normally make people pass and not trouble them, but them stop do that now. Me name Kadeen Marshall, and that are the news in the Jamaican language.
Broadcast Jamaican and Newstalk 93 FM just gear the news in the Jamaican language.
The 5 o'clock sports roundup is brought to you by Newstalk 93 FM, life-changing radio.
Good afternoon, I am Mikhail Drama Johns with your 5 o'clock sports roundup here on Newstalk 93 FM, and we begin with football. This evening's action in the KSA Business House 5-a-side action will see Sunlight Windows and Doors play Unicama A, Burt's Auto play Unicama B, Scotia Group A play Jamaica Private Power Company, and Honeybun Limited play Pika, all at 6:30 p.m. Then at 7:15 p.m., UDC faces Saprod, Prime Sport Jamaica Limited challenge Kirky Distributors Limited, Jamaica Yellow Pages clash with Toyota Jamaica Limited, and Housing Agency of Jamaica meet Surrey Hotel Management Limited. All matches will be played at the National Water Commission NWC Playfield in Mona. Further afield, Champions League action today saw Chelsea open their bid with a 4-0 win over Maccabi Tel Aviv, the biggest win of the day, while Bayern Munich had the next best clean sheet win, netting 3 goals versus Olympiacos. Bayern Leverkusen beat Bate Borisov 4-1. A 10-man Arsenal fell 2-1 to Dynamo Zagreb. Valencia were clipped 3-2 by Zenit St. Petersburg, and Dynamo Kiev and FC Porto ended their meeting with 2 nettings apiece. Meanwhile, Barcelona also played today, being held to a dramatic draw by Roma after a leveler by Alessandro Florenzi in the 31st minute, 10 minutes after Luis Suarez netted the opener. The fullback collected the ball in his own half before floating it over goalie Marc-Andre ter Stegen from 60 yards out to make it 1-1, and that is the score which ended the game. And according to a specialist, Luke Shaw will be out for 6 to 9 months after suffering a broken leg in Manchester United's meeting in yesterday's Champions League with PSV Eindhoven. Shaw has had surgery after suffering a double fracture of his right leg after a heavy tackle by Mexico defender Hector Moreno 15 minutes into United's 2-1 defeat. However, chartered physiotherapist Professor Graham Smith says the injury might not be as bad as many might first think. Moving on to athletics, Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt has made a generous donation of $1.3 million plus sporting equipment and supplies to his alma mater. The legend did the deed as his former school had a number of its sports programs being threatened due to financial constraints. The football and cricket programs fall under the head, with balls for both disciplines among other things being donated. Los Angeles, Hamburg, Rome, Budapest, and Paris will compete to host the 2024 Summer Olympic Games. The International Olympic Committee (IOC) will elect the winner at a vote in Lima, Peru in September 2017. Toronto Mayor John Tory announced on Monday that the Canadian city had decided not to bid for the Games, citing other priorities. And former Olympic champion Kylie Palmer is clear to compete at the 2016 Games in Rio de Janeiro after receiving a warning for a doping violation. World Swimming's governing body, FINA, opted not to impose a ban on the 25-year-old who tested positive to low levels of a masking agent in 2013. And finally, in cricket, former West Indies captain Ramnaresh Sarwan has ruled himself out of playing for Jamaica franchise for the upcoming regional professional cricket season. Sarwan had expressed an interest in representing the franchise, but Courtney Francis, the chief executive officer of the Jamaica Cricket Association, confirmed that the Guyanese-born middle-order batsman has since made a change of mind. And that's it for the 5 o'clock sports roundup here on Newstalk 93 FM. I am Mikhail Drama Jones, saying stay tuned for the business news and weather report.
The 5 o'clock sports roundup was brought to you by Newstalk 93 FM, life-changing sports radio.
At 5:29, business news. Tomorrow, 87 gasoline will sell for $108.89, a decrease of $1.94 per liter, and the same drop for gasoline, which will for 90 gasoline, which will now sell for $103.55, also down $1.94. Automotive diesel will be going down by $2.43 per liter to $94.33, while ultra-low sulfur diesel will go down $2.37 to $103.13. Kerosene will also experience a drop in price, going down by $1.98 to a new low of $91.30. Propane goes up by 8 cents to $34.50, while butane goes up by 11 cents to sell for $38.65. Retailers will, of course, add their respective markups. And we do apologize for a truncated business report this afternoon because We were not able to get the latest figures from the stock exchange today. However, on the foreign exchange market, the US dollar closed at $118.74, the pound sterling at $181.50, the Canadian at $89.27, and the euro $133.88. That's business news.
And now we take a look at the weather. There is a weak high-pressure ridge across Jamaica, while a tropical wave is east of the island. The tropical wave is expected to move across the island tonight into tomorrow morning. In the forecast for tonight, expect scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly over eastern parishes.
To end the news, the main points. People's Cooperative Bank threatened with closure by the Department of Cooperatives and Friendly Societies.
Home of co-accused in Creary rape case firebombed.
East Rural St. Andrew MP Damien Crawford rolls out diagnostic testing for grade 4 and 6 students.
And $3 billion spent on development projects in East Central St. Catherine.
That's your 5 o'clock news roundup here on Newstalk 93 FM. I'm Errol Lee.